This channel is supported by sumsbrand.com. We love the likes, but the merch helps to keep the content coming. Visit Sums Brand for original art, graphic tees, and more. And use the code SUMS for 10% off. What's going on, y'all? I'm Bryon Summers, and welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, thank you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. But today I want to show you something that I use in my workflow that helps me out tremendously, and it's called the content aware fill option. Whenever I'm scanning my Polaroids, I like to make sure they are the exact dimensions. I want to make sure that they are 3.5 by 4 1/4 inches, and sometimes I get them flush to the edge. You don't see any drop shadow, you just see just the white edges or the black edges or whatever the color is of that particular image. Sometimes I'll shoot in an area in my building that has 2 windows on the side, and if I want to get a wide shot, I'll just go to those images, crop or cut those windows out and use the content aware fill. But without further ado, I'm going to show you how I use it in my workflow. We're going to use a Polaroid as an example. This is an image of my dad. I shot this a while back, and when I went to scan it, one, it was not straight, as you can see here, and two, I wanted to give myself the option of making the borders flush to the edge. So like I said, true to dimension, this should be 3.5 by 4 1/4 inches. But when I scan and crop this in, it still isn't flush to the edge. So I'll show you how I do that right now. First step, I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna make sure that this layer is duplicated or just double clicked on and unlocked. I do duplicate, so that's just part of my quirky workflow. But in the new layer here, the duplicated layer, I'm going to come in and start to manipulate. So I'm going to transform this just a little bit so that it's straight. Make sure it's straight according to the guides. I'll put that back. All right, so now it's straight, but if I go to Option Command C, that brings up the canvas size. And I want to check out how big this actual canvas is. The width is 3.913 inches and the height is 4.653 inches. Now I want to change that right here. I'll go ahead and just change it to 3.5, and I'll change the height to 4.25 because that's 4 1/4. And down here, if the image is heavy on the top or bottom, you can choose which point it's going to lock to. So I'm gonna just keep it like this. It's going to lock to the center. And because I'm gonna proceed with that, because I went ahead and unlocked it earlier, now I have the option to move around this image. So if you see it's flush to the edge over here, but not over here, maybe I should go ahead and try to center this before I get to cropping anything or adding on sides, because I want to make sure that it's even on both sides. I'm just eyeballing it right now, but it's pretty much solid. As you can see right here, because I'm really close, this little drop shadow indicates that it's not flush to the edge. I'm gonna go to the other side, same thing, boom. Let's go to the top, same thing. And I'm gonna guess the bottom is the same way. Boom, slight shadow right there, and it's dust and scratches, but I'll go ahead and clean that up after we do this content fill aware. Now the next step, I'm gonna get the selection tool, the marquee, you can call it the rectangular marquee tool, because that's what Photoshop calls it. And I just go in and select the top, because I want that to be flush. I'm gonna shift, hold, and drag for every side, because I want every side to be flush. Going in, boom. So now I'm on a laptop, so I'm just going to 2-finger click, but if you're on a regular computer or the regular mouse, magic mouse or whatever, it's just right click and you'll get this option. I want to go to content fill aware. You see the option is right here on the screen, but I could also hit fill and it'll give me a longer dialogue on how to actually fill. But since I know I want to use content aware right now, I'm just going to go ahead and click that. You'll see there's a preview option. There is a actual option, and this is the green is what it's sampling from. So if I go in here and I want to fine tune it, I'll go up top, either choose plus or minus on this brush. This brush is chosen. I can make it smaller, I can make it bigger. I'll just go like that. Well, that's too small. I'll go halfway, maybe a little bigger, and then I'll just, boom, reduce some of the areas that it's actually sampling from. Depending on how good or bad your image is, or how much space you have to sample from in your image, the program does a good job. Content Aware Fill does a good job of just going in and finding the areas to sample from. But if you really wanted to fine tune, that's what this brush, the plus and minus, is for. You can also use a lasso tool, the hand to move around, the magnifying glass to zoom in. But as you can see in this area on the preview menu, there is no weird areas. It's sampled, it's flush now. Oh, let me go wrong window. As you can see, it's flush. This does a really good job. I use it all the time. Like I said, this is a lifesaver when it comes to just adding more to your image. If you want to make sure, or if you want to make a wall taller or wider, you can do that right here. Super easy. Also, last thing, make sure you output it. The output settings are to a new layer, because if you're doing non-destructive editing, it's just a good way to go ahead and make sure your layers aren't flattened or compressed in your process. So I'm gonna go ahead and press OK. As you can see, we've made a new layer, and all our edits, we can deselect now. All our edits have been made on that new layer. Just to show you, that's what we got now. And like I said, I do go in after I do the Content Aware Fill, and I just use that layer to just go in and touch up some things with the clone tool, sometimes the healing stamp, the healing tool. I just go in, sample good areas, and I get rid of those dust and scratches. I'm gonna do a few more, but you get the gist. That's what we do here to clean it up and get our good shots, our good scans. Scans that we can now take in. Scans that we can now enlarge. Way bigger than Polaroids were intended to be. And I'm just going, just want a cleaner border right now, just to show you. All right, and there are some little specks in the actual Polaroid, but I'm gonna leave it as is for now. And again, I'll show you, well, I'll show you this. I'll group that just to show you the before and after. All right, so after, before, after, before. And if you want to just get another good look, you can always change your background to something, let's do custom, let's just make it white, okay? Black, dark gray, medium gray. Let's make it white so we can just see how flesh it is. All right, so and you can see Photoshop gives it a little drop shadow right there. So you can still get your achieved drop shadow under the Polaroid look. Content Fill Aware is my favorite tool right now to use in my workflow, and I hope it helped you out some, just sharing that with you. If you like this video and want to see more like this, let me know in the comments section below. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell for alerts for more videos like this, and until the next one, peace.